It's just gone 7 p.m. and you're watching Monday's edition of Newsplus. My name is Wadzanai Sansole. Thank you very much for joining us. These are your headlines this evening. SADC is gearing up for the Sustainable Energy Week, where experts are expected to chart the region's power solutions. We have nuggets from Energy Minister July Moyo's address ahead of the Indaba. Matabeleland South Province will soon be home to a new institution of higher learning following the establishment of the University of Matopo, an institution focusing on climate-responsive education. Stay tuned to Newsplus for more details. Police in Kwekwe are investigating a case of human remains that were found in a bush in Slobela on Sunday. We have details on that story as police appeal for help in identification. Zimbabwe began their T20 World Cup campaign with a crushing 8-wicket victory over Oman. That and more coming up in sport. And now for our top story, the Southern African Power Pool is seeking to ramp up electricity generation in the region as part of broader efforts to improve energy efficiency and also address persistent power shortages. Now the move comes as Zimbabwe prepares to host the SADC Sustainable Energy Week in Victoria Falls from the 23rd to the 27th of February. And that's an event expected to drive regional cooperation and advance collective solutions to Southern Africa's ongoing energy challenges.
Electricity access remains a major concern, particularly in rural communities. A recent SADC report shows that the Southern African region continues to lag behind other parts of the continent in access to electricity, prompting member states to explore cooperative solutions. SADC had agreed to establish sustainable energy platforms to harmonize policies, exchange technologies, and strengthen regional power systems. In May 2025, Zimbabwe signed a memorandum of understanding with Mozambique aimed at increasing fuel imports through the Beira-Feruca pipeline. The agreement also provides for joint ventures in power generation, transmission network development, and renewable energy projects. Another MOU was signed with Zambia in September, focusing on the development of a cross-border oil and gas pipeline. Officials say the upcoming meetings will review progress made under these partnerships, assess various energy sources, and explore opportunities in renewable and alternative energy.
We look forward to looking at policies that are applicable in the SADC region. We also want to exchange on technologies, as well as looking at our Southern African power pool, the energy mix, the sources of energy that we have, and how we can expand with renewable.
Authorities say SADC is pushing for major hydroelectric projects, including Batoka Gorge, Devil's Gorge, Mpata Gorge, and the Inga Dam in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which could generate over 40,000 megawatts to serve the continent. Other key issues expected to dominate discussions include expansion of power generation and transmission.
We will be discussing about energy efficiency, and we will be discussing about the expansion of our generation and using our renewable energies. In addition, the power losses that we are getting, we hope that we will exchange information on how we can curtail the transmission losses.
Energy and Power Development Minister July Moyo says government has already reviewed importation taxes and licensing requirements under the Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority to attract foreign investment into the energy sector.
We in energy must look at all our fees and charges to make sure that we attract investment. So through the ease of doing business, we have been able to relook at licenses that are paid to ZERA, for instance, some licenses that are paid to ZESA, and reduce them so that we can attract investment.
Hope is that these regional agreements will help ease power shortages, strengthen energy cooperation, and support economic growth across the SADC region. For ZTM Prime, I am Setachisiwe Gwaza in Harare.
We are now joined live by Eben Mabunda for perspectives on this subject. Eben, what's the extent of the power gap in Southern Africa and how can it be bridged?
Good evening. We're looking at a scenario where 32% of the rural community within the SADC region is without access to power. Those that have access to power in the urban areas, 50% of them do not have access to power on a continual basis. This means load shedding gets into that particular way of service delivery in that regard. According to research, over $80 billion is required to finance power infrastructural projects in Southern Africa to ensure that there is 100% power delivery. And this would speak to projects such as the Matoka Gorge, which requires about $4.5 billion to get access to increased power generation, about 2,500 megawatts between Zimbabwe and Zambia, among other projects of importance. So this would require, of course, increased power generation within the Southern Africa power pool, as well as public sector and private sector partnerships going forward from this particular point, as well as the input of multilateral lenders, the likes of your AFDB, your World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, as well as the floating of infrastructural bonds, which would come in to try and bridge that particular gap going forward from this particular point.
Now, Eben, there have been growing calls for clean energy. How important is that conversation at the upcoming SADC Energy Week?
Well, over 65% of the power that is generated in Southern Africa is generated from coal. And so the conversation would be how to explore alternative means of power generation. This is where hydro comes in, solar comes into the fray. You're also looking at wind, among several other sources. But of course, that comes at a particular price tag. So the conversation, of course, would steer around how to generate more funding for some of these projects. At the same time, the aspect of interconnectedness, you'd find Tanzania, Malawi is not a part of the Southern Africa power pool. So the conversation would be how to enhance the degree of interconnectivity that exists within the Southern Africa power pool and add some of the members. This would, of course, bring in the element of efficiency and perhaps economies of scale going forward.
Thank you very much, Eben, for sharing your insights with our Newsplus viewers. Now, in other news, Matabeleland South Province will soon be home to a new institution of higher learning following the establishment of the University of Matopo, an institution focusing on climate-responsive education. Now, the university will operate from 4 campuses. That's Matopo as the headquarters, Nchabezi, Wanezi, and Bulawayo. Now, Matopo University Trust Chairperson, Professor Henry Sibanda, said they have received approval of their proposal from the Zimbabwe Council of Higher Education.
We submitted an update to ZimChair of what has taken place, basically against those 4 items. So, fine, we have appointed the University Council with 9 members to start off with. The ZimChair allows up to 15 members of the council.
Now, the University of Matopo is an initiative of the Brethren in Christ Church and is a response to the challenges of the southern regions, particularly natural regions 4 and 5. Now, the focus areas include dryland agriculture and environmental management, which are critical in the context of climate change.
And the agriculture is actually looking at dryland agriculture, which is the niche of the university. Being based in Matabeleland South, what we call drylands are what is termed as natural region 4 and 5 in this country, which cover mainly Matabeleland North, Matabeleland South, Southern Midlands, Maswingo Province, and Southern Manicaland.
Do stay tuned to Newsplus for more news updates.
Every day, Millions of moments travel through the air. A call home, a payment made, a lesson learned, a life saved. But behind each moment is something steady, something quiet, unseen, unshaken, powering connection, supporting lives. This is Econet Infraco, Zimbabwe's largest private infrastructure group, comprising towers, power, and real estate. We build and operate the essential systems that hold the country together with scale, certainty, and purpose. We bring together three powerful engines of progress under one roof. Towers that carry the signal, clean energy that keeps it alive, and foundations that hold it all in one place. Because behind every connection, every transaction, every step forward, there's a quiet force. Econet Infraco, built for resilience, designed for growth.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
This is Newsplus coming to you live from Harare. Now moving on with our top stories, a total of 121 families have been permanently relocated from flood-prone informal settlements to a planned neighborhood in Tafara. Now this is part of a community-led relocation initiative to deliver homes to people that are living in slums. And the partnership, a formal collaboration between the Zimbabwe Homeless People's Federation, the City of Harare, and Dialogue on Shelter Trust was established in 2010. And the families were moved from informal settlements in Gun Hill and other areas where in situ upgrading was deemed unfeasible due to flooding and land availability constraints.
Before they settled in Tafara, these families were living in squalid conditions with no proper water and sanitation facilities. Through engagement with authorities, they are now involved in finding solutions to their challenges.
Takabenefita zvakanyanya in a sense yekuti back then we were occupied pakambaka yema parents whereby anyone or anybody anongosvika achitaura kuti apa pamaisa zvinhu hazisiriso can't move from this room go to another room unenge usinawo option, but patakazouya panapa we benefited a lot.
In Tafara and other settlements, people have also negotiated with the city of Harare to stay in temporary housing units on allocated stands while mobilizing resources to build permanent homes. The project has also improved sanitation. Federation members have constructed ecological sanitation or ecosan toilets to replace collapsing pit latrines after heavy rains. Some of the members now rely on recycling to cater for their livelihoods.
Vazhinji vari kuita recycling muno ndo zviri kuraramisa vanhu vazhinji. Zviri zverecycling izvozvozvo zviri kunyanya kudominata vanhukadzi nekuti isusu kubenefita pa 242 members dzandiri kutaura kuti takabenefita muno 3/4 vakadzi mabeneficiary. Federation kazhinji inodominata vanhukadzi.
Officials say the initiative is not only improving living standards, but also strengthening cooperation between communities and authorities in planning urban development.
So again, as a partnership for Harare Slum Upgrading Partnership, we are currently in conversations in terms of how best we can scale up all the slum upgrading initiatives that we have started in Zvarasekwa, replicating here in Tafara, to also cover and build a model that can be adopted by all those settlements that are also experiencing similar infrastructure deficits.
Residents in Tafara hope the model can be expanded to other suburbs facing similar challenges.
Now, religious tourism takes center stage once again following the arrival of visiting Nigerian televangelist and founder of Omega Fire Ministries, Johnson Suleiman, for a 2-day crusade in Harare. Now, Suleiman, who arrived in the country this Monday, has described Zimbabwe as a great nation with great leadership. Now, the crusade, starting this Tuesday at the City Sports Center in the capital, is expected to draw tens of thousands of worshippers.
I'm happy to be here. I believe in God that God is going to consolidate what He started. Zimbabwe is a better nation now. We did it under the current leadership. God is helping the nation, and we came to just support our prayers. I believe that whatever desire, whatever project or prospect the leadership of the nation wants, God will grant it.
And moving on, police in Kwekwe, central Zimbabwe, are appealing for information after human remains were found scattered in a bush near Gweru River in Slovela on Sunday. Now, Midlands Provincial spokesperson Inspector Emmanuel Mahoko said after attending the scene, clothes of a female adult were also discovered about 20 meters from the human remains.
Police in Kwekwe are appealing for information that might help in the identification of human remains which were discovered near Gweru River, Jena Mines area in Slovela on 8 February 2026 at about 0800 hours. The informant is Ngosana Mugezwa, aged 39. He was on his way home when he discovered scattered human remains in the bush. During scene attendance, police also discovered clothes of a female adult about 20 meters from the human remains. Members of the public who may have a missing relative are invited to visit any nearest police station for help.
Now, Zim Papers Group has partnered with Marymount Teachers College to publish academic books for learners starting from ECD to tertiary level. And the discussion on the partnership commenced today in a meeting held at Herald House by Zim Papers Chief Executive Officer William Chikoto and Martin Mukwaje, the principal of Marymount Teachers College. And speaking after the meeting and a tour of Zim Papers DigiHub, a subsidiary which specializes in the supply of stationery, Mr. Chikoto said Zim Papers Group will play its part by offering the editorial and distribution services in the joint venture.
They are going to be providing the expertise in terms of the writing of the books and to a great extent the editing as well. We are coming in with a history of publishing. We have a printing press which we are going to show them today, where we'll be able to print the books. We also have a distribution network. We can distribute books throughout the country. We have already set up bookshops. One of them is here. We have another in Mtare and Bulawayo. We'll be setting up in Gweru, Chinoe and other cities where these books will be published, will be distributed.
Now, Marymount Teachers College Principal Martin Mukwaje said the program is meant to improve the quality of education in Zimbabwe through improved accessibility to academic reading material and revitalize the reading culture in the country.
We are also engaged in research, and one of the research findings that the reading culture is dying, and the dying of the reading culture is their consequences in as far as education is concerned. So we believe that through this joint venture we'll be able to motivate people back to the reading culture. How we can make a contribution to the education sector to improve the quality of education in our country. And we cannot talk of quality of education if we don't have quality books. And if you don't have those books reaching those who are in need, which are our learners.
You're watching Newsplus.
the Portfolio Committee on Budget, Finance and Investment Promotion will conduct 2026 nationwide post-budget consultations. The date, place, venue and time for the consultations are as follows. All those who will be putting on military uniforms, signs of ranks, flags or badges, and political party regalia will not have access to the public hearings. The public, interested groups, and organizations are invited to attend these consultations. Written submissions and correspondences are welcome and should be addressed to the Clerk of Parliament. Attention! The Portfolio Committee on Budget, Finance and Investment Promotion, Mount Hampden, PO Box CY 298, Causeway, Harare. Submissions can also be made by email through the email address clerk@palzim.gov.zw. The Parliament of Zimbabwe, a strong, independent, people-driven, world-class parliament.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Thank you very much for staying with us. We now take a look at our business updates. Government says it is intensifying efforts in fighting against the proliferation of counterfeit goods on the market to protect consumers. And Industry and Commerce Minister Mangaliso Ndlovu said they are working to tighten existing laws and close all the gaps in a bid to protect consumers and uphold best business practices. Now, last year, the government launched an intense multi-agency crackdown on counterfeit products aimed at curbing health risks and illegal trade. Now, the operation led by the Zimbabwe Republic Police resulted in significant arrests of manufacturers and distributors, particularly in Harare.
Zisco Steel, they are in the process of reviving certain foundries, but they know also that there are certain aspects of what was Zisco Steel that cannot be resuscitated in the face of an investment that has taken place in Manise. So they have to identify areas where they will complement what is in Manise, and that's what we are trying to do. Lancashire Steel, we are prioritizing them. Matter of fact, we think they are likely to get some bit of funding from the Industrial Development Fund because the wire bars are already coming from Manise, but that's the raw material that Lancashire Steel need to then process different types of wires.
And coming up in sport, Chevron's crush Oman in T20 World Cup opener.
We're kicking your year off in all her glory with more because we got you. You get it? You know that we got kicks, we got scores, we got action, we got roars. It's my specialty. We got drama, we got fun. We got more for everyone with an upgrade on us just for you. More channels, more shows, more reasons to stay. We got you. DSTV, we got you all the way.
Zimbabwe began their T20 World Cup campaign with a crushing 8-wicket victory over Oman at the Sinhalese Sports Club ground in Colombo, Sri Lanka today. And batting first, Oman were restricted to 103 all-out, with the Chevron's seamers leading the bowling attack. Now, Richard Ngarava, Blessing Zarabani and Brad Evans all had 3 wickets each as Oman struggled to deal with the pace and bounce. And in reply, the Chevrons made 106 for 2 to reach their target with 39 balls to spare. And up next, the Chevrons face Australia on Friday before taking on Ireland next Tuesday and then concluding their group matches against host Sri Lanka on 19 February. And despite the strength of their opponents, head coach Justin Salmons believes the Chevrons have a realistic opportunity to advance to the Super 8.
I think it's a group that gives us a chance, a real chance to get through to the Super 8s, but at the same time it's a tough group in that I think a lot of teams can beat other teams, throughout the group. Sri Lanka, Australia, Oman can go and beat Sri Lanka, Ireland, we know how competitive they are and how well they've done in previous World Cups, and they're a very experienced team. So I think every team poses a huge threat, and every team can beat the other team, and it's one of those groups, so we've got to be on it.
In other sports news, Zimbabwean Olympian Isaac Mpofu continues to solidify his status as the country's top long-distance runner after clinching gold at the Old Mutual Harare Marathon, which attracted over 3,000 athletes and fitness enthusiasts on Sunday.
More than 3,000 participants converged at the Old Georgian Sports Club, lacing up not only to chase podium finishes, but also embrace fitness and health finish. From elite athletes to recreational runners, the marathon brought together people united by one goal to test their limits. Leading the charge was Isaac Mpofu, who roamed to victory in the 42-kilometer race, clocking an impressive 2 hours 18 minutes. Mpofu crossed the line ahead of Owen Slowly, who took second place, while Blessing Wyson finished third. Mpofu says the victory is more than just a medal, as it serves as a stepping stone for his upcoming competitions.
Yeah, for now I'm gonna take each race as it comes, because there are no big competitions for me, because I like to go for the majors. For this year, I'll just take any race that comes until I reach next year for the qualification of the World Championships.
In the women's category, Kenyan Sylvia Kwambai demonstrated her athletic prowess by finishing in 2 hours 56 minutes 6 seconds. She claimed gold, edging Ethos Banda and Rutendo Nyawora by just a second.
We help each other. With the first 21 kilometer, we help each other. Hi, and Rutendo, I know Rutendo in person. She's a good friend to me. She used to come to Kenya. She stayed in my house. Yeah, so I know Johan Nyahora Rutendo. Yeah, we help each other all the way until 30. I decided to move.
Event sponsors and organizers say the growing numbers reflect a rising culture of awareness and community participation.
We have been doing this for the past 14 years, and it has been growing over the years. You will see that last year we increased the number of participants to 2,300, 400 thereabouts, and this year we've increased to 3,000 runners. But we are finding that the demand is just so much, and it continues to get, I think more demand coming from the runners in Harare and outside Harare.
Beyond medals and podiums finishes, the marathon's true victory lies in promoting health and togetherness. Latonya.
And this brings us to an end of our Monday evening bulletin. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good night. My name is Wadzanai Sansole.